Hello, welcome to another Israeli Frenemies, the only show where you can see the Israeli right and left debating the issues, the hot issues, and going away as friends, frenemies. Broadcasting here from Tel Aviv on ILTV. Stay tuned.
This week, there was a historic visit by Vice President Pence to the Israeli parliament. I say historic because it's the first time that a vice president actually spoke in the Israeli parliament. It was an amazing speech. What warm feelings. And again, I feel that this administration has a deep love for Israel, not for diplomatic reasons, but on a real emotional level. Unfortunately, there was some misbehavior by the Arab members of the Israeli Knesset, who have proven once again that they are not necessarily loyal citizens to the state of Israel. I'm sure you saw the same view that I saw, so I'd love to hear your take on that.
First of all, I saw a protest in a parliament of a democracy where elected members of parliament showed their protest against an administration and a vice president who are very firm on the fact that they take the Jewish-Israeli side on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and specifically on Jerusalem.
The Jewish side is what?
That Jerusalem is the capital of Israel,
right,
and there's no reference to the capital of Palestine.
Has it ever been the capital of Palestine?
The aspiration, this is not a historical question.
Of course it is.
The aspiration of the Palestinians, again, I know that you share the same views as Netanyahu and others, but the members of Knesset from the joint list to the Knesset, which represent 95% of Israeli Arab citizens, and I remind you, Ari, that each time that Netanyahu speaks about how great it is for minorities living in Israel, he refers to this electorate.
Also, correct.
And they don't share your view, okay?
Right. The view is not the problem. The question is, they were holding up posters that said that Jerusalem is the capital of Palestine. That is factually incorrect. It never was, and it should never be. There's no historical, religious, or national excuse.
Never was, perhaps.
Never
perhaps? Should be. They think so.
What do you mean perhaps? Was it ever the capital of Palestine? Was there ever a Arab-Palestine place?
Again, Ari, you know, each show you go to this
to this
issue.
Truth.
Okay, fine. The Palestine, and we already agreed upon the fact.
Okay, good.
That up till the early 20th century, there was no Palestinian national identity, much like that there was no Jewish national identity till the late 19th century.
How could you say that? Of course
there was a Jewish religion and a Jewish ethnical background. There was no Jewish national movement. Now, the Palestinians, that's a fact. You can dispute that fact.
Okay.
You can disagree with that fact.
We'll do it afterwards, yes.
But the Palestinians regard, and there are Palestinians who are citizens of Israel, about 20% of the Israeli...
Israelis, is it called Arab Israeli citizens?
They refer to themselves as Palestinian Israeli citizens.
Okay.
And they protested in a democratic manner, silently, without...
silently?
Yeah, they only raised banners saying that East Jerusalem is the Palestinian capital. Okay. That's their point of view. Now, I would not do that if I were them, but I can say that this is something so outrageous. This is a democratic protest, which is very acceptable, and it's part of our still being robust democracy.
So I'll explain why it's not a democratic process, because there is a base law in Israel called the Jerusalem Law. And according to that law in Israel, somebody who does not hold Jerusalem as the capital of Israel is not really allowed to be elected to the Knesset, as well as, by the way, the definition of the Jewish state. They're not allowed to be in the Knesset. So it's not a democratic. They actually broke the law with that demonstration. But again, my problem is not that. I don't mind.
This is clearly not a legal analysis. What you just said.
I will put it up after the show for you. But that's not my problem.
I know the law, but it's not what your analysis is incorrect.
My problem is not that. My problem again is, like, we always go back to this issue, because that's the base issue, in my opinion, is the false narrative. And again, what the Arabs did in the Israeli Knesset was basically say Jerusalem is the capital of Palestine. Again, historically, factually, nationally, religiously, and any other way you want to cut this cake, it never was, and they have no claim on Jerusalem. Again, I'll say it 1,000 times until you understand it. 1 second. Jerusalem was never only the capital of Palestine, it was never an Arab capital.
By the way, it was.
When?
It was the capital of the Caliph, I don't remember his name.
Jerusalem was not the capital of the Caliph.
In the Middle Ages, yes, it was.
No, okay.
It was
again,
for a
we'll
while.
put up the fact for the viewers to see afterwards.
Okay.
But again,
so what? So the Crusaders, because it was their capital, they have a claim on Jerusalem, while the Palestinians don't.
So
it's ridiculous.
Palestinians. I'll explain to you the problem.
No, they're not. It's ridiculous. National narratives are made up. All of ours.
No, they're not.
All of ours. There's no absolute truth.
Uri, the Jewish narrative to Jerusalem is not made up. The only time that Jerusalem became a special city was when Jews
national
were in it.
Identities are narratives, as you truly say. Narratives are not absolute.
Okay.
They are stories that people tell themselves.
Okay.
And the Palestinian people right now, who I agree with you, as a national group, they only regard themselves as a separate national group since the collapse of the Ottoman Empire.
Okay. And just finish. I want to.
But now they regard Jerusalem as their future capital, current occupied capital, whatever.
Okay.
That's how they see it.
I understand that. Uri, again, I understand what you're saying. It's not that I don't understand. You don't have to repeat it. What I'm saying is, though, their claims are factually false. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't occupied from them. It was never their capital. And again, the problem is...
So your claim is based on 2,000 years old claim?
We're going to make a rule.
That's it?
Every time you disrupt, the viewers will know that you agree with me, okay? The fact of the matter is that they are basing their struggle and their violence and their terror against Jews in Israel based on that claim. That is a fabricated claim. We never occupied Jerusalem from the Arabs. There was never an Arab capital. It was never considered a Muslim holy site. I said to you 1,000 times.
Oh, it wasn't even a Muslim holy site?
The only time that it was holy in Islam was the Al-Quds, which was originally called Beit al-Muqdas, which in Hebrew means the Jewish Temple Mount. Jerusalem was never in a...
So go and debate with them. It's irrelevant.
I'm debating with you, Uri,
it's irrelevant. It's like saying that there's no United States of America because it didn't exist when the Native Americans were there.
What it's like saying...
It's irrelevant.
What it's like saying
is... It's ridiculous.
What it's like saying is that when America was created, they said, there was an America before, then it would be the same thing. Now there is United States of America. There was never an Arab place called Palestine, and Jerusalem was never an Arab capital. I don't understand why you're arguing about it.
Because the argument is fruitless. There's no point.
So facts don't matter.
Facts do matter, but they are part of the story. And if there's a national claim and a
made up.
What do you mean made up? There are Palestinians. There are people who are
willing
willing
a national claim
to die for their national identity.
You can die for a lie. Is there a national claim? Tell me.
You know what? With all due respect,
when did the national claim start?
With all due respect, you know, there is an American national identity only for 300 years.
And not before that. And not before that.
No, there wasn't before that. Right. There was no American identity.
Right.
Europe is only separated into national countries since the 19th century. It's not, national identity is something that is part of modern ages, okay? And the Jewish people for 2,000 years was not a national group, but rather an ethnical and religious group.
Okay, fine.
So what?
What is it?
So the fact
I'll answer you.
But hold on, let me finish.
Yes,
and the fact that Jerusalem is our capital is based on our culture and on our history. But the reason we are... So the Minister of Defense does it again. The Minister of Defense is responsible also for Galei Tzahal. Galei Tzahal is the IDF radio station, but unlike its name, it's a very free station, one of the two main listened radio stations in Israel. The Minister of Defense, Mr. Lieberman, got pissed off by the fact that Yonatan Geffen, an Israeli poet and an author, wrote a poem about a Palestinian teenager named Syed Tamimi from the village of Ahed Tamimi, I'm sorry. See, my friend Ari here knows her better than I do. From the village of Nabi Salah, who few weeks ago confronted an Israeli soldier and slapped him, and later on was arrested. Yonatan Geffen referred to her as someone in the same line as the Israeli war hero Chana Senesh, who was a parachuter across the lines of the Nazis in the Second World War, and also with Anna Frank. I'm not sure that, and also Jeanne d'Arc. Now, I'm not sure I follow his examples. I don't think she's in the same point, but the fact that the Minister of Defense allows himself to say, I would not play any songs that were written by Geffen is a sign of the decay of the Israeli democracy. Thank God, the Advocate General, Mr. Mandelblit, said to the Minister of Defense, you have no authority to do that, and Geffen's songs will keep on being played on Galei Tzahal.
All right, so I'm going to surprise you a little bit. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. In a democracy, there's a military station, first of all.
I agree.
I don't think that, I think that Lieberman's statements were out of place. I don't think that anybody should, again, unless they're calling for, violence, I think it's a ridiculous statement to make. The problem is I want to separate the two issues. The issue is that Geffen's statements are horrifically offensive. Now, again, I don't believe there should be a military station in democracy. I really don't. I think it should be dismantled and given over to a private owner. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that if anything, is stripping Israeli democracy.
Or the state ownership, not
whatever.
necessarily private.
But I don't think a military station, it doesn't belong in a democracy. I don't think it, really, and I think we can agree with that. The problem is that these kind of comparisons by left-wingers throughout history has been something. First, I want to say, anybody who compares anyone to the Holocaust is either completely, totally ignorant or worse. I don't know. There's no comparison. One second. So I just
what do you think that with this point, Dudu El Arar, a guy, I think he's a producer or something like that.
I'm not sure. Whatever it is.
Culture or something in the culture. He said that Amos Oz, the well-known Israeli author, he would love to see him burnt to death. He would to be smoked in the chimneys of Treblinka.
So Amos Oz,
because he's a lefty.
Well, Amos Oz, I actually looked it up, and he said not leftists who use comparisons to Nazis. So Amos Oz.
No. But he referred to Amos Oz specifically now.
I understand. I understand. But then when we interviewed him, he said, I'm talking about leftists who compare Jews to Nazis.
But Amos Oz didn't do that.
Yes, he did. He called Jewish youth living in Judea and Samaria neo-Nazis.
Okay, so
absolutely.
I'm
not just.
He deserved to be burnt in the crematorium.
Again, I'll say it again. Anybody who compares anything to the Holocaust is ignorant. Is historically ignorant. But he didn't say that leftists. He said leftists that use comparison to the Holocaust. And the problem is,
we're talking about Amos Oz, the renowned author, probably the most renowned Israeli author.
But Amos Oz called youth who live in Judea and Samaria neo-Nazis. That was Amos Oz, that very famous guy.
By the way, but he's not. I never heard him say that.
I'll show it to you afterwards. He's not the only one, by the way. We have Shlomo Taloni, who was the head of your party once, who called ultra-Orthodox Nazis. We had other people, Yishai Leibovitz, who called religious Zionists Judo-Nazim. We had a lot of lefties, and I could read you off if you want. I have a whole list of them, of people who not only called the Jews Nazis on the right wing, but actually called to murder them. And we're talking about people who I'll give you a perfect example.
By the way, you know that the only political murders in Israel were by right-wingers who killed left-wingers.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's not true. The Altalena was the first one, by the way.
But the Altalena is a murder.
They shot Jews in the water.
It was a civil war. A civil war. It wasn't a civil war. It was a civil war. The beginning of a civil war.
Was the commander
I think it was a horrible command.
When you shoot people in the murder, it's murder.
Horrible.
When you shoot people in the water,
really? So in Gaza we commit murders?
No, in Gaza they're
why not?
Because in Gaza they're firing missiles
because
at
it's
Israel.
Arabs, and for you when Arabs are being shot,
at Jews in Israel. The people in the water who are armless did not fire missiles at Israel. Ridiculous comparison.
But let me just give you
a couple of things.
But it wasn't murder.
Yigal Tamrukin, who's again he's a tzayan, he's a painter, and he's actually won the Israeli war. He says if a child of a settler mother is killed, they'll just have one or two more. It's no big deal. I could read you off Aleph Ben Yoshua. Again, Israeli prize. The Palestinians are not the first ones. The Palestinians
was murdered
Aleph Ben Yoshua,
by a right-winger.
Listen what he said.
Yitzhak Rabin, prime minister was murdered.
Listen.
By, with all due respect.
No, why don't you like to listen to the quotes?
Why the quotes matter so much?
Let me finish the quote. Abba Bet Yoshua, he won the prize of Israel. Said the Palestinians are not the first people.
Why do you?
Let me finish the quote.
Why is it so
I'm going to finish this quote. You can.
What's your point, though?
I'll explain to you afterwards. Abba Bet Yoshua said the Palestinians.
We have limited time.
Well, stop interrupting me. The Palestinians are not the first ones that the Jews made crazy. The Germans were the first ones.
So lefties have some horrible
These
statements.
are people who won the Israeli prize. What I'm saying to you is,
should I bring quotes of and actual crimes and deeds of violence?
Go ahead.
I say, don't avouch me.
Did he receive the prize of Israel? Did he receive the prize of Israel?
Under your government, it's a matter of time.
Oh, please.
Only a matter of time till Yigal Amir, the murderer of Yitzhak Rabin, will be released.
Right. This is the difference between reality and fantasy. That's the problem here. But in any case, I'm saying it again. Yes. The comparisons to the Nazis have been done throughout history by the left, by the leaders, not by
only by the left,
but by the leaders of the left.
You know how many times comments on my Facebook page say, you should be burned in.
That's terrible. They're not leaders of the right.
Okay. So
we're talking about people who won the prize from the Israeli prize from the left.
I can Google now, and you'll see many comparisons by right wingers.
In any case,
as I said, I'm fully against comparing anything. By the way,
I agree with you.
And also your comparisons between Palestinians, including Arafat and everyone, to Hitler. Hitler was a one-time show in history.
What was the difference?
The difference is that Hitler
succeeded.
No, that Hitler tried to. How do you say? Wipe out the whole Jewish people.
And what does the Hamas charter say?
They are trying to get the Hamas charter. They're not talking about an industrial
Jews. They blame the Jews for the French Revolution.
Nazis. Okay. Everything is Nazi to you.
No,
every enemy of the Jewish
talks about what
Israel is Nazi.
No,
you are degrading this term.
No.
Of Nazi. Much like the people
anybody who calls for the destruction of the Jewish people is like a Nazi. What don't you understand?
They called for the destruction, by the way, of the state of Israel, which is horrible.
No, they call for the Jewish people. They blame
they don't.
The French Revolution.
No, they don't.
The Russian
but I'm not
Revolution.
going to.
After years of ignoring the obvious problem of illegal immigrants coming into the state of Israel, the government has finally decided to take action and is working on a plan to actually get rid or kick out those who came into the state illegally. And I just want to differentiate between what's called refugees and people who are coming for work or for any other reason. Refugees, for example, from Darfur, receive full rights in Israel as refugees. Over 1,000 of them. I will show you the facts right afterwards. It's not a problem. The people we're talking about, the majority, you're talking about all the people who are asking for leniency. It's not true. I'll show it you after the show. It doesn't matter. But the point right now is the majority of the people who are here, which are the problems, come from Eritrea. Eritrea is a country in Africa, and out of this 40 to 60,000, only around 10,000 of them actually asked for a refugee status, and the countries around the world, Switzerland, England, and Holland, have actually said it's not a problem to send these people back to their original country. So right now, Israel's taking action. The problem now is the left is all against that, and of course, using emotional, including comparisons to the Nazis, to Hitler, which is absolutely ridiculous. But they're getting all emotional in order to keep these people who aren't Israeli citizens, who broke the law when they came in Israel, at the expense, of course, of people living in southern Tel Aviv, at financial expense of Israel and other areas of this country. I don't understand it. It's, really.
Of course you don't understand, because you don't have the empathy of human beings who are not Jewish.
Excuse me, no way. You're not going to get away with life like that. No, we're not going to go on. You don't have empathy to Jews. That's the problem.
Okay.
Again, like I said, you want to kick Jews out, and these people you want to bring in.
Okay.
That's anti-Semitic.
I don't want to bring anyone in, but
that's
these people are in.
If I don't have empathy to non-Jews, you're anti-Semitic.
Okay.
As long as we agree.
Whatever. These people are already here. They come from mainly from two countries, from Sudan and from Eritrea.
Eritrea is the most, over 60%. Know your facts.
But, I know my facts, and they come from two countries, from Sudan and Eritrea. And in both those countries, there is a situation that, according to the UN and all the Western democracies, saying that these people can't be brought back to their countries of origin.
England, now, Switzerland, and Holland, also, they can all go back, including the European.
You're trying
facts.
The facts. So why are they sent back to their home country?
You gonna let me answer? You're sure?
Yeah.
Okay. The deal, including the Supreme Court of Israel said it's fine, is either they can go back to Eritrea or go back to other two countries.
No.
Yes,
not to Eritrea.
Yes.
No,
if they choose,
Israel is not sending them back to Eritrea.
You're wrong. It's factual. They say
it's not
they can go either back to where they came. They can go back where they came from, or they can choose other. In fact, by the way,
no, they can't go back to where they came from, and that's why Israel is not deporting them to where they came from.
Over the last 6 years,
because it understands that it breaches the UN.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay, you spoke.
Are you willing to put your opinion on this? If you're wrong, are you willing to change your mind? Yes.
Thank you. So these people are now being deported to a third country, something that has no precedent in other countries, to Rwanda. To a third country that they don't have any connection with, that Israel made a bargain with it to accept these people who are not allowed to be sent back to their home countries in Sudan and Eritrea. It is true.
No, it's not.
And if they don't comply, they are sent to jail with no, they haven't done anything.
Yes, they came to the country illegally.
So why aren't they being deported back to their countries?
I just answered you. You don't like the answer.
But the answer is incorrect.
Okay, but again, I'm going to show it to you afterwards. Even the
and you know
Prime
what?
Minister
Let's talk about World War II.
Yes,
this country was built because Jews had nowhere to go. You know, the St. Louis who was trying to pass all these harbors. These are people who are refugees, who are asylum seekers.
You're incorrect.
And Israel will not, Israel under Netanyahu, under the right-wing government,
and the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court of Israel.
It's not true. The Supreme Court each and every time.
Right now they give a step on the solution.
Try to change a bad policy, but the Supreme Court is not the government. And these people are asylum seekers. And Israel
knows or asylum seekers? Which one?
They are asylum seekers.
So
refugees who are seeking asylum. That's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is the same thing.
All right, fine. Okay,
know your law.
I do know my law.
And Israel would not even consider their requests of asylum.
Okay.
And it cannot deport them back to their home countries. And it did a horrific bargain with Rwanda. And more than that, the fact that you have now policemen trying to take people out of their homes, happening in Ashdod. And you know what I'm proud of? I'm proud of the Israeli pilots of El Al, our national airlines, who said they will never take anyone, they will never deport these people.
Okay.
I'm proud of our doctors who hundreds of them
doctors, it's a group
signed,
of them, relax.
Hundreds of them signed a petition saying they will not.
Out of tens of thousands.
Hundreds of them signed a petition saying they will not take part in this deportation.
Fantastic, wonderful.
I'm proud of the kibbutzim members who opened their kibbutzim, opened their communities to accept these people. And what do you say that all these people are imagining things?
Are you done?
Really?
Can I talk now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So again, 22. If you were in World War II, like you like to talk about, for $3,500, would you have gone back to Germany? If you were living somewhere, if you were living in America,
Ari, you each time you bring these,
to my Uri, 22,000
examples.
20. All right, so let me finish.
Read from your
own. All right, viewers, 22,000 of these people left voluntarily over the 6 years for money.
Where to?
To back to Eritrea.
No.
You want to bet?
No. Yeah, I want to bet. No, not back to Eritrea.
Will you bet your
to Canada.
No.
To Canada. You don't know your facts. You don't even know your facts. You just making statements here who have no backing.
Will you bet your opinion
to Canada and other places?
All right, let's put a wager on it. Will you bet your opinion on it?
Yes, let's do it.
Fantastic, we got it. Meanwhile, in Germany and Holland, Eritreans who received status went back to their countries for the holidays. Does that sound like they're in danger?
So if they're not in danger, why Israel is not deporting them back to their...
again.
But it's not true.
Okay, so Uri,
again, you're just making statements that have no basis.
I'm going to input the video in our debate afterwards, and when you're wrong, you're going to look silly.
The reason that one of them being deported back to Eritrea,
listen to the answer. I'll tell you again. They're not being deported. They're giving money if they want to leave. They have now time to choose to go to any one of those countries. No one's being deported now.
So why do you need Rwanda?
You're interrupting
why
me again.
Why do you need Rwanda if they can go back
You're interrupting me again, which means you know that I'm right.
And so our viewers know, again, in Eritrea, they have to serve in the military throughout their lives.
Not throughout their lives.
If they're considered defectors, and every person who is not serving. So we came to a conclusion of another Israeli Frenemies. Again, it was heated. Again, I think it was interesting. And Ari, what's next for us?
Well, we have this holiday of Tu B'Shvat. We're actually celebrating trees. You know, Israel is one of the only countries that has a positive growth of trees, and it's unbelievable. I want to remind everyone that, you know, share us out on Facebook, and the truth is, Uri and I want to know what you think. So leave your comments below, share us out, and of course, keep watching ILTV right here from Tel Aviv, Israel. Have an awesome weekend, everyone.